Hey guys, welcome to the stream. I'm Talon Trevere,
Hello.
joined by Luke here.
Hi.
It's time for more of The Devil episode 2. Specifically, we're going to be starting the trial. I'm so excited.
The trial. Yes.
Oh my gosh, just the setup for this is so good.
There
hello,
has
was
been
it Fridge Large Meat?
a lot going on.
Welcome. Yeah, there's, man, just the very setup of like having a trial for a crime that you committed.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
With a few tiny wrinkles, teeny tiny wrinkles.
Just some minor, small things.
Little
oh gosh.
itty bitty things.
Let's not
So
mess
hang
around.
on.
Let's just keep going. Yeah? What's up?
Yeah. I just realized I need to go grab something. Can you wait for like half a minute?
Alright, sure.
Yep.
Very large cop-shaped wrinkle. Yeah, there's some wrinkles for sure. But yeah. Oh man. Like I don't even know which direction this trial is gonna go. Like there's some like points that we're definitely going to hit at some point along the way, but I have no idea how we're gonna get there. Especially if we consider the theory we were talking about last time of
yes. Okay,
Lost Mafia Princess Sosuke.
The Lost Mafia Princess. It's probably Sosuke.
It's probably Sosuke.
Who is so very blue-coated. But he could be a blue herring, as it were. He
could.
We can't rule out anyone in the entire text who is roughly that age and adopted.
Yep. Oh, so much good stuff happening in this case. Let's just let's not draw out the anticipation too much.
Yes.
Oh. Did we play that already?
I don't think so.
Okay, yeah,
no.
Go for it.
The courtroom gallery is quite full today, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we've had like comments on how
we've
probably
talked
gonna be a lot
about
of people,
it, but we
haven't actually seen
it.
Yeah. Awash in a sea of pissed off cops. It doesn't exactly shore up one's confidence, does it? 5 counts of murder would be newsworthy any day of the week.
Morgan's like, I've done way more than that, of course.
Yep. Add in the fact that one of the bodies belongs to a cop, and a crowd was to be expected. Didn't think they'd be so quiet, though. Maybe they're all just waiting for the firing pistol before they start casting their stones. Don't let it get to you, Sosuke. They're just posturing. Posturing, I understand. I've been in attendance for my share of tense negotiations. The bloodlust in those rooms was always mutual. You don't feel any animosity towards these cops? I'm used to summoning my temper on command. Damn, what a thing to say.
What a thing to say.
I might have forgotten how to get angry for my own sake. So... Yeah. Cat, what are you doing? I was gonna say he's so, like, tortured.
He's so...
brooding bad boy.
He's so been raised in a cult.
I know. Poor guy.
He's so been raised in a cult and taught to ignore his own needs.
Yes. I had a clothes hanger on a dresser that the cat knocked down. I'm just getting that out of her way.
It's just like, oh, I noticed you have a thing that's precarious. Not on my fucking watch.
Yep. Such is the way of cat. It is known.
The way of the cat.
You just worry about the jury. And what about the adjutant? They cannot be intimidated by muscle, bribed with cash, or disarmed with fine tailoring.
I mean, this one probably will work.
This one, yeah.
Work. Yeah.
All of which makes them quite favored when it comes to prosecuting organized crime. Although technically, like, we don't We don't technically know that it's gonna be the same one,
We
right?
don't know. It's gonna be the
they
same
have like the
one.
same bodies with
It's
like
gonna
different
be the
consciousnesses,
same
but
one.
obviously we have
We
to have our
got
girl.
We got through 3 games of Ace Attorney before we even saw a second judge.
Yeah.
Have you been in court many times before then?
It's an eye for an eye in the world we operate in. We don't file assault charges, we just answer them. Though even that has become rare. The house is elevated. Blue bloods and rust and all the rest of the rabble. We're beyond their reach now. And when it comes to our peers, we communicate very differently.
In semaphore.
Must make being a bodyguard pretty boring.
I think your work sounds very rewarding and exciting, Sosuke.
Oh my god, I just love how much she like.
She is a hype girl.
Yeah. She just likes him so much.
She's like,
Sasuke is so cool.
She's like, I feel a kindred spirit in this person who has a relationship with a powerful individual, but also isn't really like officially part of the family and is technically ranked below a lot of other people due to ridiculous circumstances, but really earnestly tries. They're both trying so hard.
Thank you.
Especially the other day when you were captured and beaten by your rivals. Thank you, Sarah. She'd forgotten about that, actually.
Yes. What I was trying to hint at, Morgan, is that you should not be expecting assistance from the house. Honestly, the thought hadn't crossed my mind. Being on the winning side for once? What the hell would that even feel like?
So there won't be any men in black approaching jury during lunch and offering them paper bags of cash?
No.
We don't have a jury, Sarah. It's Hell World.
Well, if we do really bad, we won't even make it to lunch, so...
Always an optimist, this Morgan.
Yep.
Sosuke, what are you staring at? Are you looking for the jury?
No, I know they aren't here. It used to be mandated that juries be physically present for court proceedings. People felt it was important that they look the accused in the eye.
To help them evaluate their character?
Why bother? Most people suck at that. Always have. Except for Morgan, of course. She is the best at reading people.
Morgan's a perfect judge of character.
Of course. True. Perhaps it was considered part of the punishment then.
Socialize.
To have to look them in their eyes.
A punishment for the jury or the defendant?
All right, kiddos. Chins up, shoulders out. Show's about to start.
Showtime. Ah, I just remembered. Do you think the adjutant assigned to this particular case?
Obviously, it's gonna be me. Obviously. I mean, that's a gimme. Easy. How?
It's 80. What are the chances?
There was never gonna be anyone else.
There was never gonna be anyone else. On pizza until proven guilty.
Oh boy.
Shopping carts always return. Where do you shop?
Yeah, exactly.
You live in that judge.
There should be at least 83 other personalities in the building's network. At least.
Well, Your Honor, thank you for
presiding so honorably. I do try. Try. Because it's a trial. Tougher crowd than usual. And that's not counting all the grim monoliths standing out tall out there in the gallery. Who died?
5 people, Your Honor.
Yikes. What's the damage?
2 counts of manslaughter, 2 counts of homicide in the 2nd degree, and 1 count of homicide in the 1st degree. Okay, now that's interesting.
That is interesting.
Because presumably one of the things, again, that we've been thinking is that if not for the dead cop, it probably wouldn't be hard to say that this was just self-defense.
Yeah.
You know, Sosuke got tortured. He broke out. They had guns, or 1 gun at least, and were trying to kill him, so he fought back.
Yeah.
Really wouldn't be hard with the Akariya lawyer team, you know? So the fact that, 2 of them are manslaughter suggests that in 2 cases this is being perceived as at least less than premeditated murder.
Yeah.
2 of them, they're saying, no, he did that deliberately. And I have to assume homicide in the 1st degree is the cop thing. I have to assume that's the cop. That's
Probably. I don't actually know what the difference is between 2nd degree and 1st degree.
I don't either. I'm not a law person. I know it has to usually do with like there are things like premeditation, and there are things like, sometimes things can be classed as homicide even when they're not strictly you murdering a person. If it's like, this was a dereliction of duty to such a degree that it is effectively homicide, it's kind of stuff like that. So Emma might helpfully explain this to us, but I'm intrigued by the idea that there were different things that are being, I guess, marked. It might be that, because I could easily see them taking Trey's death as one of the 2nd degree on account of Sosuke just smashed his brains to bits for no reason, because he likes it and he likes bathing in people's blood, obviously.
Yep.
So that could be a homicide in the 2nd degree. You could have argued self-defense before you bludgeoned his brains in when he was dead. It might be that the manslaughter is for the gun, because the fact that the gun was Tank's could support the idea that they tried to kill him and he just fought back. But then they're maybe saying, well, by the time he had his katana, he could have left. They couldn't have stopped him, so he deliberately killed them. So it's probably the 2 non-cop katana murders, because those both definitely happened with a katana and no other bladed weapon.
For sure.
For sure. So that's interesting.
Buddy, you trying to set a gold split with all that? What's with the record-setting grind set?
The prosecution stands ready.
So shall we begin?
Your credit's always good here.
Court is now in session. Kitty, please move. You're in my way. Now let's crack open those opening statements and get this case summarized.
Gladly, Your Honor. People of the court. The defendant in this case is a man named Sosuke Ikaria. He was found at the scene of the crime where 2 men were shot to death. One was stabbed in the neck, another had their skull bashed in. And a police officer was impaled through the back with a sword.
Cop-killing piece of shit. Uh-oh.
Please pardon any outbursts from the gallery that your mics may inadvertently pick up. Now I understand that the scale of violence on display here today may intimidate you. But I want to stress to all of you now that your responsibility here today is neither taxing nor complex. You will hear testimony, you will be shown evidence. And all of it will point towards the truth. That the defendant is the only individual who could have possibly committed these crimes. That is a simple fact. And the only one you need concern yourself with.
Oh, she's cold as ice. But every ice age beckons a kindling. Oh my god, 80. For as ashes call to cinders, and embers form champions. Defense is ready, Your Honor. Emma did stick to cold logic, so if I follow her with more of the same, it'll end up falling flat. This gallery will never warm up to us. But that can work to our advantage, if the jury comes to see these cops as witch hunters eager to start a pyre. Use the most outlandish words you can. Go for broke. It's not like masters never taught me anything. I know how to do the razzle-dazzle.
Give him the old razzle-dazzle.
My fellow citizens, you were brought here today because an act of violence took place that could only be described as...
Are we playing apples to apples now?
I mean, I feel like unspeakable is the strongest word, but...
Yeah.
I
think if we're going apples to apples, we gotta go extreme.
Yeah.
Bloody, it's like lots of crimes are bloody.
Yeah, like there's
people
some
have a lot of blood. Unspeakable.
Unspeakable. It does have the most syllables.
The
yeah,
murders which dare not speak their name.
Unspeakable? I should know. I was there.
Morgan, are you saying that one out loud?
Yeah, no, I think she's just saying that she's been at the crime scene. She saw it with her own eyes.
She saw the brains on the floor.
I saw the blood on the ground, the bullet holes in the walls, felt the...
The malevolence. Like, horror is an extreme word, but it's also a simple word. Malevolence.
Yeah. Unease is definitely the weakest.
Yeah,
I guess syllables. Just keep going for more syllables.
More syllables.
Felt the malevolence that radiated in the air. And I also saw where my client was held prisoner. I knew exactly where he must have stood, because his sweat and blood had stained the tile. My client, a decorated veteran, the man you see standing next to me here, not even fully healed from his...
Yeah, torture sounds like you want to do torture. You want to do these motherfuckers had it coming kind of thing.
They did this on purpose. They
did this on purpose.
Yeah.
There was a lot of blood.
No?
Torture.
Yep.
Okay, good.
A little bit delayed.
It's just not emphasized.
Police custody with lacerations, bruises, internal bleeding, broken bones. I love how Sasuke is just so not down with this. It's like she's making me look like a wimp.
Look like a wimp?
Like, man's got his pride. And while he was in police custody, he somehow sustained a black eye, a busted lip, a broken nose, and a boxed ear. A puzzle which I'm sure any one of the officers in the gallery today would be happy to testify about. You gonna let her say that?
She is the difference. You want me to object during an opening statement?
just make sure I didn't accidentally miss something. I think I... Okay, yeah. I just
Yeah,
clicked
no, they're
through it a
talking
little
to
bit
Emma.
quickly, so I wanted to make sure.
Like what you want.
Actually, it does seem like she's talking to someone, though. Is someone talking to her?
I think somebody was like saying to Emma, "You gonna let her say that?" And Emma's
okay.
like, "What? No."
Much is resting on the outcome of this trial. 5 men lie dead in the morgue. One of them, a police officer, Tariq. Don't speak his name, you mob lawyer bitch.
I literally have to. It's hang them up. I don't think we have hanging anymore.
Hang her too. This is... Hey, we like to have fun in this courtroom, put on a good show. But that's because we're on the stage. Any more outbursts from the gallery and I'll clear the entire room. You can all watch the rest on your phones. You're peeking through the keyhole like a bunch of sweaty look-loos. Counselor, let's wrap this up. Yes, Your Honor. The fact of the matter is, on that night, my client was not in any condition to kill anyone. Not 4 hardened criminals, and certainly not a trained police officer. And nothing about my client's background, his associations, or that of the victims can change that fact. So he's like, I could too.
I could have if I wanted to.
So as we listen to all the evidence in this trial, with fairness and impartiality, as I know you will strive to, I only ask that you focus on the reality of this horrible crime, and not on the fiction that the people will try to weave for you. Thank you. Decorated veteran. You're telling me you never earned a single commendation? Most push-ups of the day or something? Never mind. I suppose it could have gone much worse. You're too kind. I was trying to be honest. The crowd got agitated, but you maintained a level head and recovered your tempo.
Adonai is a master at doing so. I've seen her make comebacks from the most nonsensical mistakes before.
So cute.
In martial arts, they call it an ukemi, a graceful fall.
That is basically correct. Well, try not to gracefully fall over when you see the first witness on the docket, Sosuke. What do you mean by that? I actually don't know who the first witness is going to be.
Yeah, who is the first witness? Your name and occupation for the record.
Oh, no!
Okay, so question, how are we divvying up some of the other voices?
Yeah, I don't know, just kind of split them up evenly, probably.
Okay. Should I do Makoto then?
Alright.
Because I think right now you've got 3 different voices, and I got 2 different voices.
Yeah.
Yep. How can that be necessary? If some blathering idiot in the courtroom doesn't already know who I am, they don't deserve.
Buddy.
I know, but would you consider it, if only for the sake of ceremony? Ceremony is important and should be respected. Very well. I am Makoto Ikaria of House Ikaria. My occupation is that of a student.
Try not to look so smug about it when you blatantly lie. I mean,
to be
it's
fair,
not
I
a
don't think
lie.
Makoto's getting paid for this crime stuff.
Yeah.
Right, of course. And your position with the Ikaria Financial Group is not salaried. Must I really declare it here?
Hard to imagine why the noble house of Icaria is getting audited.
Sosuke's like, he's right, it's not salaried. Sosuke, are you alright?
Can he see us?
He's like, oh no, I look like a wimp.
Yeah. Hasn't seen me, Rockford, and the adjutant. Witnesses testifying don't really need much else. So he's safe. Yes, Sosuke, he's safe. Like he was yesterday. Probably sitting right where I left him. Or standing on a box. I think the hologram's given him a boost so he can see over the stand. That's good.
The boost to his height?
That he's safe at home.
I'm sorry that he can't see you, Sosuke.
Don't be. After how horribly I failed him, I
I don't deserve to be looked at by him. I'd like you to speak a bit about the events of August 13th. About the last time you saw the defendant, Sosuke Icaria. I'm here today, not physically, but here nonetheless, as a courtesy. That does not mean I will flap my gums like some sort of flapping gum puppet.
Permission to treat the witness as hostile incoming. I'm a Rockford breaking a spoiled brat over the coals. This'll almost be worth the price of admission alone.
I understand. It was a traumatic experience, I'm sure. Anyone of normal upbringing would barely be able to recall a single detail, let alone the day's full events.
She's so good.
She's so good. Normal upbringing? I should probably dismiss you so you can get back to your summer studies. Summer studies? Like some common waif? Waif? That's quite the vocab pull. I didn't know they taught that in State Basic. Emma, he's already dead. You don't have to. Basic! Was I mistaken? Listen well, Madam Rockford, as I demonstrate to you exactly how misguided you are about my powers of retention. Please do.
Played like a damn fiddle. Why wasn't she mentioned during any of our trial preparations?
Somebody was sabotaging the trial, not being like, guys, if Rockford's your prosecutor, you're fucked. Exercises by.
Fan of turn-based RPGs, nice.
Turn-based RPGs can be exercise. Adonai has only won against her once.
So far, every hot streak starts somewhere.
And to be fair, Sarah, she won against her once, and she won against her once, and then also Emma withdrew a trial, which is functionally like winning the trial. It was the same episode. It was the same thing. But like that's almost like 2 victories.
Yeah.
Because of that whole thing where they were like, we're prosecuting for suicide, and then she withdrew that to be like, hey, we got to kill Sarah, and then Morgan won that one.
Yeah.
So 2 victories.
Hot streak. I really am going to prison, aren't I?
Where shall I start? As far back as you can. A simple task. For the past year, members of the organization, most commonly referred to as the Blue Blood Mafia, have been making attempts on my life.
Did you steal their lunch money or something?
I am the primary beneficiary of my grandfather, Daisuke Ikaria's will. In common parlance, I am the sole heir to the Ikaria financial group.
You could buy so much lunch.
The group you know as the Blue Bloods have been jealous of my family's financial foresight for decades.
Oof. That's a way to put it.
Yep. I am merely the most recent target of their impotent attempts to nip at our heels. And 2 days ago, on August 13th, how impotent was their attempt then? I was leaving a meeting held on the upper floors of Crane Tower. My security detail escorted me to the elevators where we would then proceed down to their canopy access floors. This was all planned out in advance by my head of security, Sosuke Ikaria. But the elevator became stuck with unnatural timing. When Sosuke pried the doors open, we saw that we were stuck between the 62nd and 61st floors. Pried open with a tool?
Leading the witness, Your Honor?
Need a tool to open the doors. His bare hands were more than sufficient.
Yeah, I was wondering if they were going to try to use the fact that he has, like, superpower augmentations to be like, he could totally have taken those guys, even if he was beaten up.
Sosuke's a fucking video game character. It's like, you get him on one heart, but he's good. He can do murders.
Yep. Help Sosuke out here, kid.
We submit into evidence the defendant's Akita Type 2 military-grade spinal mod, designed to enhance strength, endurance, and reflexes for high-intensity combat scenarios.
Yes, sir. It is so admitted.
What happened next? The decision was made that we would crawl out onto the 61st floor and head for the service elevators. But once Sosuke and I exited, the elevator started up. It was a trap. We had been cut off from the rest of my detail. You were isolated and defenseless. That must have been... Hardly defenseless. You really think my personal head of security wouldn't be armed? He had Yoru!
The sword has a name.
It has
Amazing.
a name.
Don't tell me. You named your sword. It's named Knight. Edgy.
All great swords have names. It's
Thank
true,
you,
they do.
Sarah. Very well put. They're best friends. I love them.
Sarah's just doing the meme of like the pick up protect, like no to Morgan. Let the record show that the witness has identified Exhibit B-3 as belonging to the defendant. Yeah, we should look at, we got some evidence. Bladed weapon. At the tip. And then we've got fingerprints on the right hand, which was after Morgan wiped it off.
Did Morgan wipe it off? I don't think she did, actually.
Yes. No. It was part of when you were doing the you've got to dispose of all the evidence. She wiped off the katana.
Well, I remember yeah. Did she? Because I know there was some stuff that she did after putting her gloves back on, and she didn't. I remember like when I was getting caught up, I remember kind of screaming at you mentally to be like, the sword.
So yes, Morgan did wipe that off, and in fact down.
She literally
I had to wipe prints off. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's the thing, because it did have Miller's blood on it, because she was doing the slasher killer, drag it through the blood thing.
That I definitely remember.
Yeah. We don't have his mod yet in evidence, though, it looks like.
Not yet, I don't
Because
think.
the new stuff goes to the top, yeah. This sword was recovered by the police in a known blue blood den in the lower wards. Found impaled into the body of Tariq Chopin. And forensics has shown that the only fingerprints on it are those of the defendant, which is an interesting thing because it implies that when Sosuke was in his fugue state, Rogers probably had the foresight to palm some fingerprints on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's still time for you to disown it, Sosuke.
You understand nothing about a swordsman's heart, Adonai.
Once again, it is your paralegal that has the right of it. Perhaps she should have been leading my defense.
Sarah lawyer time. Your Honor, my client is simply too cool to have done these murders. I now call Sosuke to testify about how awesome he is and his really neat sword.
If it somehow turns into a fencing competition, I'll gladly defer to you two.
So you, Sosuke, and Yoru were on the 61st floor together. What happened next? When we arrived at the service elevators, Sosuke called them, and then they made a chime. And I didn't clearly see much of what happened next, to tell the truth. Figures emerged from around the corners. They were aiming weapons at me. A red dot shone on my chest. And then Sosuke was there, and a needle was sticking out of his arm. Yoru glinted. Sosuke had drawn it in the blink of an eye.
He's too cool.
He's too cool. Something glanced off it and dropped to the floor. I saw a syringe at my feet. Yoru's sheath was thrust into my arms, pushing me back into the elevator, and I landed on my rear.
That's clearly a key piece of testimony. Let's play it back 5 times.
What matters is he pushed me back into the elevator with Yoru's sheath. That's interesting. How I landed is irrelevant and should be stricken from all public records.
Morgan, you gotta eventually admit that the cyborg samurai is pretty cool. Yeah.
He's pretty cool.
I don't know if she'll ever admit it, though.
He's pretty cool, guys. The only other thing I saw was Sosuke's back. He slammed his hand against the elevator's control panel, and then the doors shut.
Like he reached inside to, like...
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's the last time you saw the defendant? The decision was made that I should get on a VTOL as soon as possible.
I feel like that's not the first time he's used that phrasing. Like,
yeah,
decisions being made.
He's like,
for
I
him
was
that he
definitely
is
an
not
active
involved
participant in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It was
Poor
it was
kid.
my choice, really. But much of my detail stayed behind to assess what had happened. Yes, they were very helpful to building security and recovering Exhibit 5-C, this hypodermic needle gun. That is okay. That's a gun. A needle gun. So they both had needle guns, according to Sosuke's testimony. So this is the stuff where I'm like, there's specifics here that could be important, because like Makoto's not going to be testifying for no reason. And again, I think that we'll find out that Sosuke was the target. That's helped if these needle guns and projectiles are set up for someone of Sosuke's weight, because we know they're not actually trying to kill Makoto because of what Murray was saying. They're not trying to kill Makoto. They wanna child bride him, but child groom sounds technically true, but also sounds worse.
Yeah, kind of.
Technically still true, though.
Yeah, it is.
That's you. That's you.
What kind of bonehead would leave evidence like that behind?
No, but that is actually a bonehead in a rush, perhaps, Your Honor? No, but like that is legitimately a good point.
Yeah,
like,
if they had the gun, they would have just run off with it. Unless they like dropped the gun and then didn't have time to go pick it up or something, but that seems unlikely.
Yeah, because I'm
or
like,
unless they like needed their hands for something else, or I don't know. Like it does seem very strange that they would leave it.
I'm like, one, why drop it?
Yeah.
They had this whole thing about like OPSEC, everything's printed in self-destructing ink. Why leave this gun? And I'm like, okay, so that doesn't feel right to me though. That's evidence. It's got Creek's fingerprints on it. He wasn't even wearing gloves. Yeah. Apparently. So it has evidence on it, and I'm also like, okay, so the thing that I think is going to be important as a contradiction is that we know that Sosuke was carrying Makoto when all this happened.
Yeah.
And it's a thing that Sosuke didn't want to admit because, like, oh, it's so humiliating. I had to carry poor Makoto, who was humiliated by the indignity. So obviously Makoto hasn't mentioned it.
Yeah.
That's so embarrassing. But it also means that, like, okay, the red dot on Makoto's chest, like, that would have been aiming near Sosuke as well. Because it's not like, oh, Makoto's over here, so they're obviously aiming at Makoto because he's, like, 5 steps away from Sosuke. It's like, if they're aiming at Sosuke, they're functionally aiming at Makoto. So I think that that's going to be an important thing because, again, that's a detail that was dropped that Makoto is omitting. So, the gas canister. Yes. It does appear to have exhausted its gas canister, so it may have outlived its usefulness.
I take it that this weapon is a match for the projectile needles found in the room where my client was restrained?
Correct. Others exactly like them were recovered from the scene of the ambush as well. Okay, so that's important.
Yeah.
They marketed as truth serums, which is like, what were they trying to get out of Sosuke or Makoto in the scenario where Makoto really was the target? Makoto, did you see the faces of the men who attacked you? Ah, all too clearly. I can tell you every detail of their roughshod countenances.
Ah, that sounds like a good bit of testimony. Hit it! Alright, so we have needles, Yoru. Oh, just those.
Pineapple head-like man and a raincoat-clad hooligan came at us first. They aimed at me, but Sosuke got between us and blocked every shot. With Yoru, he could have closed the distance, but then a dark-eyed scoundrel approached from the right, and a man with a ridiculous pompadour took advantage of that distraction. I'll never forget the faces of those cowards. They tried to kill me. Okay, so yeah, so whatever happened to them afterwards, I'm sure they deserved it.
Okay, so they weren't trying to kill.
Yeah, we can show that it's non-lethal, so that's the obvious call. But hang on, does it sound like there were 4 of them? He saw 2. He saw, can we see the text, like the chat log or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, because the first one, a pineapple head-like man
Yeah,
and a
so
raincoat-clad hooligan.
Those
So
two first.
those two first. And then a dark-eyed scoundrel approached from the right.
Yes.
And a man with a ridiculous pompadour took advantage of that distraction,
Yeah.
which suggests that there were 4 people.
Yeah.
So, like, who's the
I think
fourth
that
person?
lines up with.
Well, Trey was the newbie. Trey was the door guard.
Well, I think he was.
He was
there
part of the
though?
pod, but like, yeah, we can look up profiles, I guess. But like, explicitly, he was a wet-faced newbie. You know, would
He
they
was
have
at the
brought
same
him? Because
time.
that's Pompadour,
Yeah.
and then Miller is the raincoat, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, raincoat. And then Tank's pineapple head, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess that makes sense.
And Trey would be dark eyes, which makes sense with.
Okay,
his
I guess
orientation.
that does fit, but like, why would they bring Trey along?
I don't remember exactly what Sosuke's testimony was, because he also gave an account of who attacked where, but
Okay,
I guess
I don't
do we have
fully
that?
remember that, but
Okay, I guess not.
okay.
All right. Makoto's putting his talents for hyperbole on full display.
Yeah,
I'll have to
that's
fact check his
why are they
description in order
bringing
to get the ball rolling.
Okay, the first thing though is that it was non-lethal, and that's the
Yeah.
easiest. Yes.
They could have been trying to kill the witness, not with non-lethal projectiles. I mean, this could definitely be a segue into the amount of, of drugs in there would have been lethal for
Yeah.
Makoto.
But at the same time, it would be really weird to try to kill a child with a deliberate
Yeah.
overdose of truth serum rather than. They fired a lot of them. The witness doesn't weigh that much.
Don't try it. This attack was clearly planned with the intent of capturing Makoto alive.
Meaning what? That 4 of this case's victims were actually soft-hearted pacifists?
There's nothing soft-hearted about what they did to my client after capturing him. Using tools they clearly originally planned to use on the witness. So they're sadists? I'm getting confused here.
Soft-hearted sadists. So is the defense, Your Honor. What matters is that the witness has identified the defendant's captors as the 4 blue blood victims that he is accused of murdering.
Makoto did establish that much. Something about this attack still bothers me.
Yeah.
Hammer put Makoto on the stand specifically to identify the victims. Is it possible that the men who attacked them weren't Creek's pod? That would be interesting.
That would be interesting, but
I don't know. I feel
What are
like
we
that's
seeing?
not true.
it feels like a trap.
Yeah.
And then what would Ray's be? Some other
Yeah, some
party.
other
So
party. I feel like it's
do we have
probably gotta
access
be
to our
Ben.
evidence here? Do we have
Yeah.
access to our other evidence
We
here?
have
Yeah,
evidence.
because
Like, I don't
we
see
have
how it would have
evidence.
been anyone else.
they have Creek's fingerprints on
And I
them.
remember double checking when Sosuke was doing his testimony that his accounts of their height and weight exactly matched what was in their
Were
profile.
exactly correct. Yes, he was
Yeah.
attacked by a group of 4 with identical heights and weights.
Yeah.
They did, actor diets specifically to get into character, all to frame Creek's pod for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't feel likely.
Like, this
Yeah,
seems like a strange thing to say just out of nowhere, but I
yeah,
think it has to
they've
have
given
been,
us they've given
maybe
us
it's
some
just
like
a like intro,
traps.
little softball.
Little softball. They've given us some traps.
I don't disagree, Your Honor. The men who attacked Makoto and took Sosuke captive are the same ones who ended up dead that night.
Maybe they'll give us other things that could be wrong with it. Yeah.
But two questions do occur to me.
Yeah.
Why were you safe on that service elevator if Sosuke surely collapsed the very moment it shut?
Because if Makoto was the target,
Wouldn't these men have pursued you by any means necessary?
that is. I can answer that, Your Honor. When the police inspected the scene, they found that the control panel for calling that elevator on the 61st floor was broken. Smashed, in fact. The attackers would have had to manually pry open the doors to even attempt to chase after Makoto. But
I mean, they could have.
didn't Tanks have... Tanks had a robot arm.
Yeah, I think he had some kind of mods. But also, like,
Yeah,
they
he
could
had
have
a robot.
gotten to him by other means. Like,
Yeah.
I guess they probably didn't know what floor the elevator would have stopped at, but like, I don't
But
know.
like
I feel
Tanks
like
could
they
have pried it
gotten after
open.
him.
Yeah, you pry it open and then you're like, oh damn, the service elevator is gone. Now we'll take Sosuke back as our consolation prize. But like, they didn't even do that. And that would take remarkable modded strength. But Tanks had mods. Did you mash the button that forcefully, Sosuke?
I may have used more force than necessary. I wasn't exactly trying to hold myself back at the time. Do you normally have to hold back to not smash things?
Yes, he lives in a world of...
He hit the controls hard
A
enough
world
to
of
break
glass.
them. So the Blue Bloods couldn't pursue you further, and instead elected to take Sosuke captive. A Sosuke in the hand is better than a Makoto in the bush.
The head of Makoto's security would surely have made for an invaluable source of information for planning future attacks. Were he made to talk? Are you denying that?
No, but I would like to ask the witness one other question. Why did you get off the elevator in the first place? Well, he's got elevator trauma.
He's got elevator trauma.
What are you... Hey, what I mentioned in the lobby earlier, that's... The mics might not be picking up on it for you, but from where I'm standing, I can't help but overhear my client groaning about how badly he failed you.
She can
mean.
manipulate him too. That's not evidence or testimony, and so should be stricken from the record.
It doesn't matter if it's on the record. But we get the idea. So is bailing out early the defendant's big brain idea?
As head of my personal security detail, such a decision is ultimately his to make. However, decision may have been influenced by his knowledge of the fact that I am not especially comfortable in enclosed spaces.
What the hell are you doing? You trying to humiliate him? In part. I'm also trying to insult you. So mean.
Had we simply waited, we would have remained safe, but I was not comfortable and felt very warm. So it was not a tactical failure on Sosuke's part, per se.
Just an error of judgment. So mean. The well-dressed and tested trial technique of rage baiting the witness, yeah.
Miller Morgan.
What's up? You can disconnect the call if...
Ask me another question. Ask me about how bravely Sosuke defended me. Huh. So that's your angle.
We can't all be as naturally gifted at extracting valuable testimony out of spoiled brats as Emma. But I can follow her example. Insult their pride, and these Ikaria snap back, as reliable as any knee-jerk reaction. And in Makoto's case, with infinitely less resistance than if I had simply asked him to testify. It's usually the lawyers who do the asking and the witnesses who do the answering. This is not very realistic. We asked that the witness testify for the court in more detail about exactly how valiantly Sosuke fought off the attackers. And I guess the people don't object, even though it seems super extra.
No, the people don't object, Your Honor. They don't object because being like, oh, Sosuke's so cool and badass, he fought off 4 guys with like nothing but his sword is really good for their case, where it's like, oh, Sosuke's really badass and he fought 4 guys off with nothing but his sword and 1 gun.
Emma's playing passively. Either I'm onto something here, or I'm walking into a trap. Screw it. All in on the former. Alright, needle guns. Sosuke medical records. And needles.
Yeah, what do we specifically have about the medical records and the needles?
Yeah.
Fingerprints match creek. Needle. Non-lethal anesthetics, truth serums. And then Sosuke's
medical records.
Medical records, yes, okay. Blood from various sources. From the left hand. Slight laceration in the left hand.
Ooh,
internal
a lot
bleeding.
To potentially have to remember.
Yeah. Bruising and rope burns as if bound. The anterior front side of the body. Others blood on tops of feet and pant legs. Crown of the skull at time of booking. Yeah, additional injuries. Is not noted.
Yes, of course. Well, let's see what they got for us.
Let's see. Sosuke was outnumbered from the beginning and protecting me the whole time. It didn't matter that we were ambushed or that the Blue Bloods had projectiles. Sosuke took up Yoru in both hands and swatted their needles out of the air like a graceful swatter. He fought off 4 attackers and without sustaining a single injury.
Okay, so that's suspect.
Mock him if you dare for being captured. But that's not a failure, not by any general's definition of the word, Sun Tzu, etc., etc. Hearing Makoto describe Sosuke's heroism. Yep. So I think the one thing is, because didn't he say he got shot by one of the anesthetics, right?
Yeah, that's the obvious thing, I suppose.
Yeah.
I guess here we don't really know which injuries he got, like,
yeah,
in the building versus like after he was captured.
Yeah, did the needles say like, oh, Sosuke got hit with one of these?
Yeah, I guess that would be the most obvious thing to use if...
Yeah, it's either the needles or the medical records.
Yeah, I think it's probably the needles.
Alright.
Just that we know that Sosuke was shot with them at some point.
Yeah. I don't know if that qualifies as an injury is the thing, yeah. Hearing Makoto describe Sosuke's heroism. Yeah, safe. It's almost more impressive the second time.
definitely fought without a care for himself. There's evidence to show it. Yeah, so we have to show that he was, in fact, injured. I feel like the only thing we have is the needles.
Yeah, it's definitely true that we don't have guarantee that the injuries happened, so...
Yeah. Also, the both hands is interesting, because we only have prints from one hand, I think.
Yeah. But we don't have access to the sword right now, so...
Yeah. Nope.
Oh, nope.
Not it.
What is that supposed to prove, Your Honor?
Do you even have to ask? I certainly do.
Okay, so...
I'll make you pay for forcing my hand. Overruled.
It feels like that has to be medical records, then.
Oh, I need to focus on pointing out Makoto's misconception about exactly how Sosuke took action.
How Sosuke took action? Hang on. Because, like, it's the how that's weird. We don't have access to the sword, so we can't contradict the both hands thing. Well, okay, so the left hand broken as if from impacting a hard surface. Wasn't that the control panel?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It could be.
So he did injure himself then, at least.
Laceration found on left hand. I feel like these are probably related.
I don't think so, actually. I think because Sosuke said when he
the
was
laceration is probably from his
free,
he's cutting himself out of the bindings,
which is going to be important because it's going to be the thing that's necessary
for the
to
knife.
prove that there was a knife on the scene.
Yeah.
Without admitting how we know there's a knife on the scene. So it's got to be the medical records, I think.
Yeah, the tricky thing about that is that we don't have any indication of when he got which
We
injuries.
have established that he smashed the control panel.
That is true. So that's probably
So
the
that's
best
got
shot
to
that we
be
have.
when that was there. Because he broke it as if impacting a hard surface.
Yeah. I'm gonna attempt the medical records on
On no injuries.
Okay, there we go.
Okay. Yay.
Unscathed is the last thing anyone would call my client after the events of that day. I mean, I guess if we say in total, like by the end of it, yeah, he was pretty fucked up, but for that particular encounter.
We gotta say it so we can counter it, and then...
Yeah. One look at his medical data from when he was arrested will tell you that much.
What are you getting at, counselor? The defendant's injuries were sustained at the Blue Blood's den, not at Crane Tower.
Yeah, that's the tricky bit.
The police didn't find even one drop of blood anywhere near that service elevators. Yeah, but broken bones don't leave blood.
Well, that is a miracle. A bloodless ambush. But the fact that no blood was found makes it all the more painfully obvious what actually happened to that elevator panel.
The elevator panel? Okay.
My client broke half the bones in his left hand, smashing it up.
Did you really?
I might have. There was a lot of adrenaline at the time.
Did you not form a proper fist? Was your wrist not in alignment with your forearm?
She's so concerned. It's like, oh no, Sosuke, what did you do?
Sosuke.
As I said, Sarah, there was a lot of adrenaline. Do you deny that his medical record clearly shows his left hand was broken?
Your Honor, what does it matter that the defendant
is unforgivable?
Unforgivable. Maybe he's not such a cool samurai after all.
Oh no.
Your Honor, what does it matter that the defendant broke his left hand closing that elevator? Well, so far we don't... Yeah, we don't know. Is the gun in our evidence yet? It changes nothing about the witness's testimony. Because if the gun's in evidence... Oh, yeah, no, hang on, because the thing
gun?
that... This gun. He gripped it in his left hand, which was broken.
Yep.
Yep. So that is actually important. Okay,
the thing is... It raises other questions for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know
the thing that I think with staying here is I think it matters. We're on blind -3.
Yeah, I think it raises questions about other parts of the case. It doesn't necessarily directly contradict the current testimony.
Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to think, is there anything that we're especially missing from this? Because the things that I think contradict so far are Hanks had Mon, so he could have opened the elevator, which is a big hole that we haven't gotten to yet. It is important that Sosuke broke his left hand because that's going to be important for arguing that he couldn't have shot the gun. So the question becomes, it's the kind of thing where I guess, the testimony, I think this might also be a trap here.
I'm definitely leaning towards stay, but...
Yeah, it might just be that we want it on the record that his left hand was broken for later.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with stay, but I'm not confident. True, Sasuke's hand getting injured doesn't change what we've learned from this witness. But it does change the evidence you had him identify for the court.
The katana?
That does also go back to what we said about him gripping the sword with both hands, potentially.
Yeah, I said it with both hands. And we only see the right hand fingerprints on it, which they're going to be like, well, his right hand wasn't broken. But it's like, does Makoto assert that he was holding it with both hands? Then why were the prints wiped? Yoru. Its name is Yoru.
So cute.
We get it. Okay, so we've got evidence, which is Makoto's testimony, so that's good. Wielding the katana Yoru with both hands, we need that.
Yeah.
With Yoru's sheath. I think the sheath is an interesting, that's gonna be important.
Okay, so he was wielding the sword with both hands before he smashed the panel. So,
but the right hand fingerprint. Yeah. No, but the right hand fingerprints are the only ones on the sword, which suggests that somebody wiped the print.
Yep.
So that's the question. We're going to say, who wiped those prints? Did you have a point to make, counselor?
There's something odd about the katana that's been entered into evidence. Something that makes no sense, given what we've learned about the outcome of this ambush.
Okay, I thought we were saving that, but no.
Namely, the sword's... Yep.
The fingerprints,
Chat disconnected? Everything okay?
Oh.
Huh. OBS doesn't say it's disconnected, only chat says it's
I see the chat currently. Here, let me try testing a comment.
Oh, successfully connected. Okay.
Okay,
I guess it's back.
I sent a test comment, so you should see it.
I see the comment.
All right.
Prints.
Prints.
Mainly the fingerprints that were found on the sword's handle. Fingerprints belonging to Sosuke's right hand.
You're contradicting yourself, counselor. We've already discussed how it was your client's left hand that he broke closing off the elevator. There's nothing contradictory about him using his right arm to wield the blade.
It can be like this because Sosuke has 2 hands.
We don't even have a regular ship for him yet. We can't do a polyamorous ship for this.
Yeah. The people are correct. The sword found at the scene of the crime has my client's right hand fingerprints on its handle. Despite the fact that this witness just testified that Sosuke was swinging it with both hands.
Like a graceful swatter, specifically.
Oh, yeah, he did say that. So did the little tyke misremember?
It was a chaotic situation where he feared for his life. The court should hardly expect him to have kept track of such an inconsequential detail. Have you already forgotten my magnanimous powers of recollection?
Your tactics from earlier backfired.
I'll have you know, I can recite all my subordinates' birthdays down to the hour. That's actually really sweet.
Yeah. Write them all down so I can calculate their moon signs later. Or she's an astrology girly. She would. It doesn't matter whether the witness is mistaken about Sosuke's grip, Your Honor. Because we have a much bigger issue to address. Why the sword has only my client's fingerprints on it.
Okay, this is where the sheath matters. Because they couldn't have held it by the blade, which means their fingerprints would have gotten on the hilt.
Yeah. Ricardo testifies that Sosuke wielded this katana in his defense. An act of bravery that ended with my client face down on the floor of Crane Tower. He later woke up, held captive in the lower wards. I'll state the obvious in here and say that while he was unconscious, he was moved. And so, the sword we have in the record must have also been handled by... Well, that doesn't say much. Like, someone else obviously handled the sword, but they didn't necessarily need to leave fingerprints.
Well, but we know that Creek wasn't wearing gloves. And
yeah,
Creek...
that's a good point. That is true.
Yeah.
It could have been someone else,
It's gotta
though.
be Creek. No, it was Creek.
Yeah,
nobody else has a reason to. There were other ones, but he's the only one of the pod that we are saying was that we have as an option.
I mean, yes, in terms of gameplay, he's the only one we have as an option.
No. I mean, like, the sword was taken to their pod. He's the only one who was going. Yes, but it could have been one of the other members who took it. It could have been one of the other members, but he's the only member of the pod that we have here to suggest. Like, if they counter us, that's clearly where we're going next. So we're, at the very least, we're getting to the next point.
Creek is the only one that we have confirmed was not wearing gloves and would have left fingerprints.
Yes.
Like,
but at the
I'm
very
saying
least,
it could have been one of the other members who either, they don't even have to be wearing gloves. They could have just, like, handled it in, not, holding it directly.
They couldn't have handled it without touching the hilt, though, because it didn't have a sheath.
Well, yes,
so,
but
that's the stuff that we're saying.
They could have handled it without leaving fingerprints, is my point.
They could have wrapped it, but at the very least, that gets the wrap on the table, because Rockford noted that as important. Like, my point is there's nowhere else to go but to say that Creek did it, because it's not Chopin and it's
For
not
now,
Lakota.
it's definitely a bad argument, but we can start there and
But we've got to start up setting up these pins.
Yeah. All right, well.
Yeah, it's Creek.
Why is it not clicking? Oh, because I need to drag it.
Drag and drop.
Our poor victim, Creek, of course. What do you mean? Sosuke was knocked unconscious at Crane Tower. That means that someone else must have brought his sword down to the lower wards. And the only people who had the opportunity to do so would have been his captors.
You mean his victims?
Innocent until proven guilty. You can't just say that shit.
Leading the jury.
Yep.
Objective, withdrawn. Yeah, what's the... I'm forgetting, there's a specific phrase where it's not leading evidence, but like prejudicial. Prejudicial, that's it. I think that's the actual lawyer term. This is prejudicial. The defense is forgetting a fairly simple fact, Your Honor. There's more than one way to hold a sword.
Oh, worm? God damn it.
In case the defendant needs it clarified, Creek could have simply held the sword by its scabbard. No, he fucking couldn't have. No, this one we can raise now.
That's not possible, Your Honor. Makoto has already testified that Sosuke left the sword scabbard with him when he thrust him back into the elevator.
Yoru's sheath was thrust into my arms, pushing me back into the elevator, and I landed on my rear.
I see. And since a cursed sword can't be resheathed until it's tasted blood.
Makoto's also like, Your Honor, did you have to replay that? Yes, we did.
Yes, Your Honor, very well said. They would have found the scabbard at the Blue Blood's den if Creek or his men had taken it with them. Instead, I imagine Makoto took it home.
You think he took key evidence from his own assault and kept it from the police? What a scamp. Of course I did. You can't fucking incriminate me. I'm a fucking mob prince. As if I would trust officers of the law to properly handle a family heirloom as precious as Yoru's sheath.
I wonder if we're gonna have to, like, actually bring it to the courtroom into evidence and find something else on it.
Submit it into
I
evidence.
don't know.
The secret, like, oh, there's a little note here that says Sosuke is the Dawn Bluth princess. It was in the sheet the whole time. Impressive insight, Adonai. But what does this actually mean? Is there some mistake with how the evidence was handled?
There's no mistakes here. This was all done with intention. The intention to frame my client. By putting his fingerprints onto that sword after the real culprit had already handled it.
She's getting her scary face.
What a load of bullshit. And the crowd goes wild. It does make a certain kind of sense. Because it's the truth. I did wipe that katana's handle down after removing it from Trey's throat. Sosuke just happened to be foolish enough to pick it up himself afterwards.
Did he, though?
It is entirely possible.
It's possible. He's a sentimental nerd.
It's frustrating having to keep all my best cards up my sleeve this time around. But the look on Emma's face when I do get to toss them out is... Nope.
The people are more than ready to counter if it pleases the court. She's got her own theme music. This is bad, guys.
Oh.
It's a fucking harpsichord, guys.
Yep.
The defense has made an admirable effort to barrel ahead with this theory. Admirable, but predictable. With a foundation this week charging ahead and hoping the court won't notice is the only option. Let us speak of the facts. This Creek character led a targeted ambush on the heir to House Ikaria, knowing he'd be guarded by a full security team. The Blue Bloods successfully sabotaged and intercepted Makoto's elevator at the precise floor they wanted, meaning they knew exactly where he'd be and when. And they brought with them drugs capable of disabling a veteran with military-grade mods. Planning and attention to detail may be foreign concepts to the defense, but they should at least be able to recognize them. So is the defense seriously suggesting that after all that preparation, Creek's pod wouldn't bother to wear gloves?
We already have that evidence.
We have that evidence, Emma. This is sloppy.
Yeah.
We have that evidence.
It's right there.
Emma, we're 5 steps ahead. You don't get to pull out a harpsichord for this.
I'm glad you asked so nicely.
The gun.
We don't need to speculate about whether they wore gloves or not. Not when we have Creek's fingerprints on a weapon recovered from the crime scene.
Yeah, planning and attention to detail, my ass.
That is.
Pretty good point, actually. Yes, these guys were sloppier than we thought.
Those blackguards were barefaced when they attacked us. Idiots, as if there wouldn't be repercussions for their actions. The least they could have done was disguise themselves.
Strike that from the record, Your Honor. Along with any future comments that suggest the Icaria would want revenge against these victims.
I was only speaking a plain truth. Creek was their leader, correct? If even Creek wasn't wearing gloves, it's hard to imagine that none of them got their prints onto Yoru.
Unless the sword was, indeed, wiped down at some point afterwards. Like right around the time the true culprit was looking for Sosuke to take the fall.
She loves doing that.
It's a spicy theory.
It's just that, Your Honor. A theory. A far-fetched, unstable theory that stacks presuppositions upon each other. Like a flapjack chef substituting quantity for quality. Emma takes her flapjacks very seriously. I'll rephrase. This inconsistency is easily answered without jumping through the defense's absurdly arranged hoops.
That's a little better.
We already know that the Blue Bloods had successfully taken down the Icaria's head of security. And we already know that they went out of their way to take the defendant captive, despite him not being their original target. But was he? Was he not their original target, Emma? Further, as the defense is belabored, we know that they decided to take a useless piece of steel with them from the scene of their crime.
Useless.
If we ask why, the answer is obvious. Because orcas are superstitious and immature. They wanted a trophy. And what is there to do with a trophy? Other than polish it. See, there we go. Now we've got the cloth in play. The cloth is so necessary.
The cloth from Creek's desk. I knew she'd flagged it in the arcs for some reason, but she thought this many steps ahead.
That is honestly a really weak reason. Like,
Weak
if
reason.
the cloth
She
was
didn't
used
use
to polish the sword, I feel like that doesn't make it relevant to the case.
She didn't even pull out the harpsichord for this.
Yeah.
The defense is correct. The sword was wiped down before Sosuke took it up as his murder weapon. By the very same victims he'd go on to claim with it. With the cloth in testimony, we can actually, like, get details about it and figure out how much it screws Morgan over.
A completely logical explanation, damn it.
Damn it. How do we respond to that, Adonai?
We... check. I don't. I can't. Makes perfect sense.
We wait for the next witness.
So, does that mean that she's described what actually happened?
Not at all. I wiped off the sword myself because my prints were on it. Same as I wiped my prints off every other. Right. If I can't find fault with Emma's conclusion, I need to find fault with the logic that led her there.
I see. And how do you do that?
By adjusting my aim.
Yeah, it's not. We're not.
As the people say, Your Honor, no one's fingerprints but my client's are on the murder weapon. That only makes sense if he's guilty or being framed.
And there's no evidence to suggest that he's been framed, because his captors had valid reasons for wiping off the sword.
It's true, they did have good reason to wipe off the sword. But that's not the murder weapon I'm referring to.
Okay. Yeah, so the left hand is the one because his left hand was broken.
Yeah.
So, hang on, do you have the logs of the things? Because I want to see like what exactly was Morgan laying out as her argument, but it's cool if we can't access them from here. Okay. Scroll up. So my clients, no one's fingerprints but my clients are on the murder weapon. That only makes sense if he's guilty or being
So we're saying
framed.
that those prints on that gun are definitely evidence of
Yeah.
being framed.
Because his left hand was broken.
Yeah, exactly.
So, hang on, just make sure that we're looking at, because we've got the prints are on Tosuke's left hand. What's
Yeah.
the one in the middle? Is that the bat?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like
Prints, yeah.
partial prints, and Morgan couldn't wipe those off. So, like, we don't have any signs that that's not one of the guns, so, or that's not one of the murder weapons. So it's got to be the left hand.
This gun is the murder weapon I'm referring to.
What?
The police are confident that this how do you even say that?
Magus.
I guess it's
I
just
don't know.
Magus. It's written as just Magus there.
Magus.
Magus.
Yeah.
Is what I'm gonna call it.
Magus.
Is the gun
Yep.
that was used to kill tanks in Creek.
And your client was arrested with it on his person, and it has your client's prints on it.
But it was owned by tanks.
Yeah, it's like, why aren't Tank's prints on there? Now,
the record.
granted, can we pull up Tank's? Because I've been bringing up his mods. I'm pretty sure he had like 2 arm mods. So,
I don't know
to be
if the
fair,
profiles go into detail and all that.
well, they show he's got 2 robotic
Yeah.
hands. So,
Yeah.
he wouldn't have fingerprints to leave,
Yeah.
which is probably going to be the next pin we've got to knock down.
Yeah.
But, like,
then the next thing is
I-
the left hand prints, which are also like a problem.
the left hand prints, his hand is broken, and also like Tanks could have opened up that goddamn elevator.
Yeah.
The record shows that Sosuke's are the only fingerprints on that doohickey. So that means this tank guy had never laid a finger on his own gun?
It's entirely possible that Tank simply liked to polish his gun too. That's weird. Why aren't you
Crazy.
bringing up the mods?
So he was polishing it right up until the moment his captor grabbed it and used it against him? More phrasing. Was it before or after his internal bleeding that my client took the gun off Tanks without him even laying a finger on it first? Before or after being tortured that he got the gun with no struggle?
They could have wrestled over the gun while it was out of reach.
Tanks had no injuries beside the hole in his chest. How'd he get into a struggle and not get so much as a scratch?
The likelihood of that scenario.
Would seem to come down to the order in which each individual died, no?
Yes, Your Honor. I do think it's weird that we're not bringing up
Yeah.
the...
I think we're getting to it.
We're
It's
getting to
coming,
it, but also
probably.
like
It seems like
as
Emma just doesn't know about the hands.
yeah, the
apparently.
hands. I think the hands are important because
Interesting.
Tanks was polishing his gun with those hands. You know. I don't know. I thought I'd throw another innuendo in there.
Then perhaps we ought to hear some more detailed testimony about that.
Of course.
The defense has no more questions for this witness, Your Honor. We don't object.
Hold on. What are you saying?
Okie dokie then. Closing the connection.
I said, wait, is Sosuke...
Oh. Oh, they're so sweet.
He's so sweet. Makoto seemed to be in good spirits, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, he was his usual, irreproachable self. So how can you find something about that to be depressed over?
Makoto usually remembers everyone's birthday down to the minute. He's clearly in distress.
I'm ashamed that he testified at all. His appearance here runs the risk of sullying the house's visage with my mistakes.
Sosuke.
Poor guy.
Sosuke.
Oh, buddy.
They did such a fucking number on this man. He needs that trust fund just to give himself a little bit of ego.
I don't know if it would help.
Sosuke, you need like a dramatic musical number as you dance through a ballroom to cheer to raise your spirits.
Well, he couldn't exactly slip the subpoena by claiming he had homework to do.
You, of all people, should understand that the house doesn't have to appear in court if it truly doesn't want to. A fine levied on your accounts is always preferable to a smudge staining your reputation.
But he did testify.
Yes, and he no doubt went directly against one or more family elders to do so. He should not be incurring debts for my sake.
So he put himself at a disadvantage for you. Do you think Makoto would want you to apologize? Or do you think he'd want you to thank him?
Oh, Sarah.
She's got him there. Sweet baby girl.
He's young. He doesn't know what he wants yet. Buddy, just...
He still thinks I'm a person. Sosuke's like, he still thinks I'm a person worthy of respect. He'll grow out of it.
Oh.
Oh, God.
Yumi Sato, medical examiner.
Yumi!
She's so excited.
So excited.
Sarah.
Dr. Sato, we're very grateful for your work sorting through the large number of reports related to this case.
Okay, so eventually we're going to get to the katana thing wasn't wrong or wasn't correct, and there was a third murder weapon on the scene of the crime. Favorite color, phylocyanine green G.
Nice.
Nice.
Phew, yeah. 5 bodies, all high priority. Had my head underwater for a good while there.
We'd prefer not to tax you with repeating every grisly detail. But if you could, would you please walk the court through the time of death for each victim and the manner in which they were determined?
All right. From the top. Kurtan, aka Tanks. Had a mishmash of street legal and chop chop mods along his forearms.
So not actually replaced his hands.
Yeah. None of them were particularly up to date, but they were all working, and they did monitor his heart rate. Tanks' heart stopped at 9:44 p.m. The cause of death was...
Yeah, we remember.
The slug had a hollow design, intended to shatter inside the target. There's no mistaking that he was killed by his own gun. The never know how to say that. Magus.
Just say Magus.
Yeah.
From a distance of 1 to 2 meters. Next up is Sungmin Trey Trench. He also had relatively low-end mods installed, and they show his heart stopping at 9:45 p.m. He died from exsanguination, blood loss resulting from a laceration across his neck by a sharp metal blade.
That wasn't the only injury his body sustained, though, was it?
No, it was not. Posthumously, his skull was... saw no evil. Evans Miller Smiles received a puncture wound straight through his jugular vein. Then the blade was withdrawn, exacerbating blood loss, and he was likely unconscious within seconds of falling to the ground. Miller had mods, but had evidently gone to great lengths to remove all monitoring tech from them. And he was not found with any electronics on his person. Using purely medical means, I narrowed his time of death down to a window of 10 minutes, between 9:40 and 9:50 p.m. Even though I killed him third, and he was the second to die.
That brings us to Creek.
Yes. Like Tanks, Lakers Creek Kristoff was shot once with a hollow slug from a distance of 1 to 2 meters. However, the slug penetrated just beneath their solar plexus and failed to completely shatter when it impacted a low-end spinal brace mod. As a result, Creek didn't die immediately. It is my medical opinion that Creek would have slowly bled out over the course of about 5 minutes. Their mod did not have biomonitoring capabilities. So, like with Miller, I've done what I can to narrow down the time of death to a 10-minute window between 9:40 and 9:50 p.m. So he was barely modded, and he stayed conscious that whole time anyway.
I'm gonna note, like, pretty much all of them have mods, and so they like, oh, it would have taken modded strength to open the
Yeah.
elevator. They did have mods. Okay, we got so many. Yes. So the main thing is we gotta find the stuff that would rule out Sosuke, which the first thing is that his left hand was broken.
Yep.
So he couldn't have done the shootings. Indicate DT3, but no signs of the disease seem to exist. No metformin. So DT3 was brought up in the context of his brother?
Yeah,
Right?
I remember his brother having some kind of illness. I don't remember what it was specifically.
Some kind of
Do we have
illness.
that
So that
anywhere?
that
I
might
don't
be
think we do.
important.
Yeah,
I don't
we
think
have that anywhere in our
so.
evidence.
But that's why he was trying to skim money off the top.
Yeah.
So the carotid, yes. With a bladed instrument approximately 2 to 3 centimeters thick. So she knows that it's a blade. She got that it's got thickness. 13 centimeters deep. So the knife is 13 centimeters, which is like suggests that if it was with the katana, it would have to be like the very edge of the katana. Hang on, can you scroll back up? Notes? No, just in the notes section. Blood on the subject's hand suggests they attempted to staunch their bleeding or possibly even remove the weapon. So the thing is, like, that's not how a katana works. You know? Like, if Sosuke was gonna slash a guy in the neck with a katana, it would have just been a slash. It wouldn't have been it's lodged in there. That's not how katanas work. So, like, how would they remove the weapon if it was like, oh, the katana handle is over here, you know? Most likely face their attacker, yes. Okay, so tanks. So we don't have a lot here because it's very precise. Posthumously traces a wood splinter. Okay. So the biggest thing is the gun.
Yeah. But we do have one other context clue to work with. This data pad was found very close to Creek's body, and technicians confirmed that it requires Creek's fingerprints for most functions. That means it's unlikely that anyone else would have been able to manipulate it. And we found that the last action taken on it was an attempted dark card transaction that failed at 9:44 p.m.
What could cause a dark card transaction to fail?
Either they hit cancel, or the card itself was jostled, interrupted in the scan.
As if the data pad was suddenly dropped.
Speculation?
Such qualification does one need to understand that card readers can be finicky, Your Honor.
True enough. Chip, swipe, pin, tap. Just let me buy the damn balloon animal, you clown.
So, taking that digital evidence into account...
Creek must have been shot almost at the exact same time as Tanks.
Thank you. There's one more body you examined for this case, yes.
And this is important because we don't know much about we don't know much about this one.
Officer Tariq Chopin. I didn't need to determine his time of death. As a patrol officer, he had a standard suite of police-issued biomonitors. So we know that Officer Chopin's heart stopped at 10:14:04 p.m.
That's a lot of time to hang around the murders that you definitely committed in the middle of enemy territory.
Yeah.
We're arguing that Sosuke was a fucking Terminator who could kill 4 guys while tortured, but he couldn't escape. He couldn't escape an apartment building in half an hour. Triggering an automatic 10999 alert. Officer down.
Lighting up that crime scene like a firecracker and ensuring every cop in the city would come running, royally pissed and safety's off. Chopin was impaled through his back by a long, thin blade. It severed his aorta, and as a result, he died instantly.
To summarize, then, we can conclude that Tanks' gun was taken from him before 9:44 p.m. He and Creek were then shot with it. Their attacker, out of ammunition, took up a sword and stabbed Miller in the throat, before slicing into Trey's neck. This individual then proceeded to posthumously crush Trey's skull by striking it so hard that they shattered a baseball bat. As Creek bled to death on the other side of the room. Finally, when Officer Chopin entered the scene, they stabbed him in the back, before finally being apprehended by Officer Rogers.
That's all correct, as far as we understand it. So now Rockford's put together a timeline.
It's probably helpful for the jury, putting it all in chronological order. But have we actually learned anything new about the culprit's actions?
We have. Emma brought her on the stand to establish the culprits.
I mean, starting time feels like the only one that we've actually... Methodology, maybe?
Yeah.
Starting position feels weird.
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense to me.
I mean,
I guess
it could be because
about
it was...
both the methodology and the starting time. I guess we...
I mean,
it's
the
true we
whole
didn't
point...
know the times.
Like, it hadn't been very explicitly stated at that point. The thing about the methodology is, like, the whole reason she called Sato up was, like, what order did these killings happen in? Which sounds like methodology.
Yeah, that is what she said at the start.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take a look at this.
Yeah. Okay, death was instantaneous, which is interesting. So the thing is, large bladed instrument, yes. Unusual pattern of aggravation, as if it was jolted post-mortem. They think it's because he fell. Or because they're trying to argue that Sosuke was trying to get the sword out of him. But I also think it could be just that he fell onto it, which jostled it. So the thing with that is, I think he was standing at the desk and there was something important on Creek's desk that he saw, which incriminated probably Rogers, who is probably the one who did it. The thing is, what they were saying about the biometrics and the 10999 is, I don't think I'm going to just say Rogers, because so far he's the only person we've really been presented with as a credible suspect. Might not be Rogers, we'll find out.
Yep.
But if it's Rogers, Chopin sees something on Creek's desk which incriminates Rogers, because Rogers has been doing shady stuff in the second floor apartment below all of this for some reason. Chopin sees the thing and he's a goody-goody, so he's definitely going to rat Rogers out. Rogers panics, picks up the sword that's conveniently right there, and stabs him. The 10999 means that he knows for a fact that other cops are going to show up and wonder why another cop is dead.
Yeah.
So I think this is the point in the timeline where he's like, oh shit, I gotta frame Sosuke for this. He did not come into that with that idea.
Yeah.
It was purely a panic move. So the timeline, I guess maybe Sosuke was just there and catatonic while all of this was going down. If they showed up and he was just standing in the corner having trauma flashbacks, war flashbacks, they could be like, oh, I guess we'll just call this in and take him in easy because he's not doing anything, and then all this goes down. So, yeah, I guess that's later stuff. Here we've got to choose, is it methodology or is it starting time?
Yeah, I feel like probably methodology.
It's a weird way to say order, but it's the one that could be order.
Alright, let's try it. She wanted to establish the culprit's methodology.
As in, what tools they used for each murder?
That wasn't new information to me. Was it new to you? Not in the slightest.
Oh, no, never mind. It was starting time.
Poor phrasing. What I meant by
At least we didn't lose anything.
Sought has established where the killer must have started their spree.
So it might have been starting position meant
that's not
the
really
order. That doesn't feel like starting position to me.
Yeah.
I guess it is true that the physical location because they kept saying the 1 foot to 2 feet away. So that
is a good point.
That does say that. And something that I think, so the fact that the bat was blocking the door is something that Morgan obfuscated. So they can't make that argument. However, I do think it'll potentially be important that Morgan was closer to the exit than she was to Sosuke's torture room when she started shooting people. They were between her and the room, which is definitely going to be something useful for us when proving that Sosuke didn't do it. Because, if he came out of the torture room and started killing them, surely he would have been near the entrance to the torture room. Okay, so position is helpful to us.
Correct. Because Creeks and Tank died first, and they were both shot from within 1 to 2 meters. We know that the culprit must have started taking action right by the desk.
And not by the door to the holding room.
Which is maybe where they're getting the murder instead of self-defense.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So the likelihood that my culprit broke out from there
is not very high at all.
Check.
Yeah, but that doesn't prove that he wasn't in there. That just proves that the culprit wasn't there. You're founding this all on the presupposition that Sosuke is the culprit.
Yeah. Yes?
An abundance of DNA evidence establishes that the defendant was indeed held in the other room. So much blood. But clearly, he didn't remain there. His captors must have taken him out to question him in the main room. Why?
Yeah, why?
That is an exceedingly stupid thing to do.
Very strange.
And dragged him in front of the desk, where Tank's gun would be within reach.
Why?
Why?
You're the one who's reaching.
Why would they undo his bonds?
Yeah.
To question him by the desk. You have evidence to the contrary? A better explanation for how he got out of where he was being held? Well, the thing is, we do because of the knife, but we can't do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can't exactly propose that the real killer set him free as a scapegoat. The forensics are clear. My client was gagged and bound in that room.
Was, but clearly they had to cut him loose to question him. That doesn't track.
That's weird.
You can answer questions with hands tied behind your back.
A mistake that ended up costing them their lives. Do you think that's true, Sosuke? Well, I mean, he knows he... Well, he doesn't think he did it.
I'm not positive, of course. But my body is telling me that I was held in that room from the time I woke up until I got myself free.
So I think the immediate thing is that the left hand was broken.
Yeah.
Why are his left fingerprints there?
Yep.
Alright, yeah.
And this theory about the Blue Bloods being dumb enough to let Sosuke near a gun isn't perfect. But it's still a theory.
A game theory.
I don't have jack shit to counter with because not even Sosuke knows how I let him out.
If the defense has no objections...
Kiki is here. Take a cat pet break.
Cat pet break.
Kiki, you have anything to say?
Maybe Morgan just needs a cat pet break.
Yeah. That would fix her.
No, it wouldn't.
That would fix her. That would fix her.
Very cute. Alright. Then they'll just have to take this L and meekly move on to their cross-examination.
Adonai, that made you sound very feeble.
You've developed a habit of only using we when I'm winning. Fix it.
That made us sound very feeble?
Why do I have to get roped in?
Ah, you're part of us for the time being.
Yeah, for the time being.
Emma's already established a timeline and an order of events. I could pick out the details, but she's close enough to the truth already. I know the truth, firsthand, about every death except Chopin. In his case, Emma and I are on even footing. So what's my advantage? What do I know that everyone else is mistaken about?
Oh, that there was
The
murder weapons.
for sure.
Yeah, murder weapons.
Right, the murder weapons. Everyone thinks Miller was stabbed in the neck by a katana. I'm the only one who knows my knife was there. There's got to be a way I can use that information to my advantage here, without revealing that I have it or how I got it. I'm walking a razor's edge here. At least it's thematically appropriate. The defense is ready to begin our cross-examination, Your Honor.
Ah, the blackjack.
Yeah. I think we'll probably get through this section and then end there. That would probably be good timing.
Sounds good.
Dr. Sato, you were asked to examine all 5 bodies. Did you visit the crime scene? I did not. Have not. Photos and other ARCS data were provided to me to aid in my examination.
Surely the defense isn't objecting to a little virtual work.
Of course not. After all, had anything been added or removed from the crime scenes, the arms would show it. There's no fooling it once it's been set up.
Okay, so I think the blade wounds are kind of the obvious promising thing. Because this is the thing that we know about, is that the blade wound is wrong. So we might
feel like
have
maybe we
to come
don't
back.
need to go for it first, though, because it might be...
Well, I don't think
It's
it's gonna
definitely the
knock
most
us.
obvious thing, but...
It's the most obvious thing. I think that like we might have to do two because we usually have to pick the right two to question about. But I think that blade wounds has got to be one of them.
For sure. I'm not sure if the order matters. I'm gonna go for blade wounds though, because that's definitely the most correct one.
Yeah.
Victims Trey and Miller were both attacked with a blade. Exactly how fast did they die? Trey had his throat slashed, and blood found in his hands suggests that he had time to reach up to his neck in response. But he would have quickly stumbled back and collapsed onto the floor, dead. Miller wouldn't have lost much blood at the moment his neck was punctured. For that kind of wound, the weapon acts as a stopper. But once that stopper was removed, he would have lost consciousness in mere seconds. And while the blade was still in his neck, if it was there for more than a second, he too would have reflexively reached up, presumably to try and grab the blade.
So the fact that he doesn't have wounds on his hands from grabbing a katana.
Is there any evidence that he tried to grab the razor-sharp katana lodged into his neck?
He had his own blood on his right hand, but there were no cuts on it.
Because he grabbed the knife's handle, not a sword's edge.
So it stands to reason that the blade was withdrawn very quickly. By the time his hands reached up to his neck, it must have been gone.
One of many small inconsistencies with this katana theory I can shine a light on. Will that be enough?
Will that be enough? Okay, so now we've got an additional one. Oh no.
Yeah.
So the only other one I think it could be is that maybe something in
It's also
Chopin's
related
cause
to
of death
to
would
the
like
katana,
would reveal that it was a
I'm gonna try to do this and then the katana stab, because you're right. We might learn something here that will then help us.
The like 16 out of 21 is concerning me, but it's kind of essentially random. Like the numbers don't really mean anything when you're just gonna get however big a card they need to knock you over.
Yeah.
So
Is my mouse like lagging again? Come on. Hello.
Oh, that's
Just
the
speak a
mouse
bit
is
more about
like,
the
no.
matter.
Sorry.
The mouse is like, no, don't click it.
Yeah. Maybe it's a bad sign.
Gaming.
Hey, if we fail this
bad
one,
omen.
I'll know to listen to the mouse next time.
Listen to the mouse.
Do speak a bit more about the manner of Officer Chopin's death.
Well, to reiterate, his body was found with the katana stuck through his back. It had punctured his heart, killing him. There was massive blood loss at the scene. At least in part because the wound in question was agitated, I suppose I'd say. I do want to know what agitated means.
I do, I just don't think it's relevant here.
That's a good point. That's tough.
Like, this is the first time they've thrown that, oh yeah, you got a special plus interrogation method. Right? Like, that's not, that's, we can continue to click it and that's new, right?
I think we've gotten things where, like, we've unlocked other options.
Yeah, but not in the blackjack section.
No, in the blackjack section.
Oh, really?
I think
Okay.
so.
I don't remember that.
Oh, I want to know so bad, but it might screw me over.
We're at blind 6, which is not terrible, but it's
It is
not great either.
We're doing quite well so far.
We're doing pretty
trial.
well.
We're at like almost 100, I think.
Is that going to be relevant? Is the question. Probably not.
I don't think it's going to be relevant here because the main thing is like if we could forensically identify like, oh, there was a distinctive chip on the katana that isn't in Miller's carotid artery wound. That's the only thing I can think of that could be relevant at this point.
Yeah, it seems unlikely, but... I wonder if we can take a look at this one, too, without...
We can do it
We've
without
definitely
pressing.
had cases where we've just clicked on a thing in the blackjack and immediately got
Oh,
punished
yeah.
for it.
And they immediately ding us. No, that's true. That's true.
Gunshot wounds. I think
Yeah,
we
that
might
one
just have
might
to
not
go
be-
straight for the katana stab.
Yeah,
Let's try it.
most promising.
Stabbing Miller's neck so precisely and so fast. That would be quite the feat of swordsmanship.
Stating a conclusion, Your Honor.
Comments withdrawn, quick as a blade.
Nope.
Have you ever seen a stab wound like the one that killed Miller, inflicted by a long blade? And wielded in one hand by a man experiencing heavy blood loss? No, can't say that I have. Now, whether that maneuver is impressive or improbable... Well, I'm a doctor, not a fencer. Sosuke doesn't own a rapier.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the katana does. Well,
Yeah,
okay.
it's-
Do we have access to the evidence right now?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, because
like,
they
the
have
size,
been talking about the width of the blade.
The width
yeah.
it did match. I remember that.
Chopin's autopsy is where we could compare the katana for sure.
2 to 3
2 to 3
centimeters
centimeters thick,
as,
yeah.
As the knife.
Yeah, and then Miller's. Two to 3 centimeters thick, but it also does say puncture wound is 13 centimeters deep, which I find, like, if they're talking about the difference, I'm like, well, that actually would be a difference because the katana went clean through Chopin because it's a katana, you know.
Yeah.
It's longer than a person is thick, but the knife did not. It
Alright,
was
I'm
it
gonna
was only
go
13.
try this and hope it works.
Fingers
I guess.
crossed.
Did you find the stab wound on Miller's neck fit the sword that the police removed or recovered? Approximately. That doesn't sound
Approximately
conclusive.
is, yeah. That's good for us.
The entry wound is slightly smaller than I would expect for such a precise stab.
Oh no!
The sword hand must have barely trembled, but it's within tolerable ranges. Furthermore, DNA on the tip of the sword is a match for Miller.
Morgan is just like,
Damn it, just because I happened to drag it across where his blood had dripped.
the one
And of
time I tried to be a
course-
badass horror
Yeah.
slasher movie villain.
Yep.
Nah.
And of course, there isn't any other implement at the scene that fits the wound better. No, of course there isn't.
Okay. Okay, so we looped back around. Was that what it was called the first
No,
time?
I
I
don't
think it
think so.
was. No?
I don't think so. I think this was like, was it? This was like
Bla-
blade
oh, yeah.
wounds or something.
Blade wounds.
So this is also
Ugh.
new. I guess
That's-
we keep
but
going
it's
with
not-
it.
Okay. If it's not that, then I think, like, if we get to another press stay and we don't have strong, compelling stuff, I think
Yeah.
we might need to switch to Chopin.
It
Oh,
does
yeah,
feel like
yeah, see,
we're just
no, that's just the same thing.
okay,
yeah.
yeah.
That's literally the same thing.
Okay, never mind.
So it's just we're going through it, yeah. No,
Okay.
I don't
so
think
guess
that,
we
yeah,
already tried
because
that.
we've already done that. I think we gotta stay, yeah. So I think it's gotta be Chopin's cause of death now. Oh, no, this is, oh, wait, no. Yeah.
I guess we try pressing.
All right.
What do you mean by agitated? Honestly, as though after impalement, the blade was moved around inside the wound.
Maybe that's it. Like the fact that it was being jiggled, and allegedly that's also what happened with Miller.
As if
So,
had
like,
become
it would
stuck,
have.
and someone was struggling to remove it.
Yeah, but there
Well,
wasn't
there
that
we are
same
at
evidence
21.
for Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it would have been the same thing.
London mentioned that Sato found this wound odd, but to hear her specifically say the blade had become stuck. That's interesting. Thank you, Dr. Sato. I think I can speak for all of us when I say that I found that very enlightening. Blackjack. Dr. Sato, you just testified that Officer Chopin was impaled from behind. Did this occur on the spot where his body was found? Yes, it did. The body shows no signs of being moved. I'm curious then. What was there for the sword to get stuck on? Uh-huh. Well, if Chopin was in the center of the room, standing upright, I mean, it wouldn't have gotten caught on the air, right? Bone, perhaps?
So are we making the argument that he was lying on the floor when he got stabbed? Is that what it is? He didn't fall? He was taking a little nap?
Surely you examined the wound inside and out. Did you see marks on his rib cage where the blade had caught? No, I didn't. Then it stands to reason that the blade didn't get caught on anything inside Mr. Chopin.
It got caught on the floor. Also, I don't know if I'm connected all the way.
Oh, yeah, you're like loading.
Doing the loading thing. Chat, am I still there? Or
I can still hear you.
It's fine if it's fine if my visual doesn't come through as long as the voice stuff does. Come on, OBS, work. Okay, cool. I'm being heard. Then that's fine. We can move on.
Your connection to this realm is getting a little shaky.
I'm a mountain now. It's okay, guys. I'm a mountain inside a gear, and really aren't we all mountains inside spinning gears in these troubling times? All right.
Something about it. All right. Wow.
Yeah, we'll deal with it later.
Pardon?
You need to take greater advantage of the arcs, Counselor Morgan. Learn to flip things on your head. I mean, it's like you haven't even played Ace Attorney. Entire rooms, if need be. Yeah, I was thinking like he was stabbed on the floor.
Yeah.
If you had, you'd see there's a clear indentation in the floor that lines up perfectly with Mr. Chopin's wound. How did you think the tip of the sword got chipped?
You're saying the sword got stuck in the floor?
That's what the facts are saying. Do you disagree?
I mean, I don't disagree. I think that it does seem like it was stuck in the floor.
Do we have the arcs in our evidence?
I don't think we have it specifically.
What I'm worried about is we've been talking about, oh, this got stuck. And Morgan was Windows, autopsy, sound system.
I mean, we know that
The
like the
arcs would
sword
just be like in art.
was chipped at the tip.
Yeah, I don't think it's actually wrong that it was.
Yeah, no, it
on the
makes sense
floor.
to me.
It makes sense, and there's an interesting point in that because it implies like, okay, was he kneeling down or something when that happened? But
Yeah, I guess it's maybe theoretically possible that he had been stabbed standing up, but then he like fell and it got stabbed into the floor.
and it got stuck. But like,
I don't know.
less likely.
Yeah.
And then the sword would still be stuck in the floor. Like, that wouldn't change that fact. My main thing is,
well-
I'm not sure how we're going back from that to there was a second blade at the scene.
Yeah. Well, for now, I think there's a lot that's being set up for later. So I think for now we can
Yes.
just go with the
the sword could have gotten
now.
stuck in the floor. I think that does make sense.
I think you're correct.
Don't necessarily disagree, no. If Chopin was impaled, then fell face first.
It makes perfect sense for the sword to get caught in the floor as he collapsed on top of it.
Okay, so I think that's our first assumption, but we're going to find out later that he got
Yeah,
stabbed
no,
on
he
the
was just
floor.
laying down. He was taking a little nap. Officer Rogers was like sleeping on the job. I'll make you sleep forever.
Oh, we can
It turns
conclude
out
that.
Officer Rogers is actually like the perfect rule-abiding police officer, and actually, Officer Chopin simply failed to live up to his standards.
So we can conclude that after being impaled, Chopin fell over with the sword still in his torso, driving the sword into the ground. Then his attacker aggravated the wound by trying to retrieve the sword from his corpse. Does that sound right? What? Are you asking me? Sort of, asking the room, I guess. Well, I believe I can answer. What you're describing makes sense, Dr. Sato, but only up until we consider again
Oh,
the fingerprints on the
yeah.
sword's handle.
No, that's a good point. Why wouldn't he grab it with both hands?
Well, one of his hands was broken.
Yes, but as soon as they bring that up, we can bring up the gun.
Yes.
If my client really did impale Tariq Chopin and get his sword stuck doing so, why would he try to retrieve it with only one hand?
Also, the placement of the fingerprints would be different if he was,
Yeah.
wielding the sword to stab with versus if he was grabbing it to pull it out.
You arrange them differently. You do. We've all done the Ace Attorney with the different fingerprint arrangements. We've all played Ace Attorney, Emma. Because he had to retrieve it with one hand. You yourself already elucidated that the defendant's left hand was broken when he destroyed the elevator panel in Crane Tower.
His left hand was too damaged for him to even grip a sword.
And it'd be
Nothing
hard
square
for
with
him
this
to aim
piece
the
of
gun.
evidence.
Yeah! Our fucking... There we go. The gun. The magus?
How could my client's left hand be too damaged to grip his sword, and yet also capable of gripping the magus?
That oddity is hardly impossible to explain. We've already determined that the magus was fired twice before the sword was used at all. Firing such a weapon with a broken hand surely rendered his left useless.
That's...
It is difficult to wield a sword with a damaged hand, isn't it, Sosuke?
Historically, even the loss of a pinky on your non-dominant hand was considered enough to render you relatively defenseless.
Is that why Yakuza would offer to cut off fingers as recompense for offenses?
That's right, Sarah. In fact,
She's so happy. She's like, oh my god,
love them.
Sosuke said I was right.
They would love to talk about Yakuza shit. Oh, these sillies.
cut the chatter and save the history lesson. He had to pull the sword loose with one hand because his left was useless? Looking at all the forensics pulled from the katana, that's... Your Honor, the people claim that my client had to use one hand to retrieve the sword because his other hand was disabled. But does the evidence actually suggest that?
Okay, that's... Yeah,
What do you
I'm
mean?
actually curious what she
Hmm,
means by
yeah,
this.
I don't know what she's getting at.
Forensics performed on the katana found my client's right hand fingerprints on the handle. But what grip are the prints a match for?
Yeah, there we go. Okay, yes, we've all played Ace Attorney.
Yep.
Let me just give it a quick think here as I meticulously analyze the position of each finger. A normal grip. The grip is normal.
Do you mean to say that the thumb is facing towards the blade, Your Honor?
Well, yeah, but isn't it easier to just say he held it like normal? Well, normal for what purpose? If my client only held the sword with his right hand normally, Your Honor, that would mean he held the handle like that even as he tried to jostle the blade free from the floor it was impaled in.
A little bit of contortion, which is far from impossible. But if, Your Honor, the court has questions about exactly how the defendant was positioned when he was found standing above Officer Chopin's corpse.
I think your ghosty is back, but you're like not lighting up. That's weird.
Hello. Hello.
Okay, no,
I'm lighting
I
up
think you're
now.
good Okay. Okay, you're back.
The ghost energy is illuminating me. I believe the people's next witness will be able to answer all of them. Good, I want to get a look at this guy I'm going to accuse of murder. Officer Rogers,
to face off with the arresting officer.
Officer Rogers, show your fucking face.
Yep.
I just want to talk.
Yep.
Chopin's partner. Very well. Then let us sign to the stand. No, name not found. Uh-oh. What? What?
Is that a family or a given name?
The heck is this?
What?
Yeah, going big ol' error right here, and it's a classic.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Witness not found. Literally. He ain't here.
What? He's had hours to get here. What the hell could he possibly be?
He's dead.
He's dead. Holy shit.
Your star witness is a no-show.
Well, that's not good. Is this good news or bad news? It means we
hitting
gotta
the
figure out who
jackpot
killed
on the
him.
world's sketchiest slot machine.
Oh shit.
Feels good, but you get the feeling that the staff is going to make you pay for it.
That idiotic. Pay for it when? Fine, I'll finish it myself.
Right about now.
Oh! Perhaps it's for the best then, Your Honor. Harpsichord strikes again!
Yep.
We can save the court of trouble by wrapping up things here and now.
Just like waiting for the right time to do a cliffhanger. I don't know how much farther to go, but
The facts are simple. Yeah, so the thing is, I'm like, this feels like an end boss for this day. If they're
Yeah.
not bringing out Officer Rogers, who might be dead, and now we have to figure out what that's all about. Like, he's probably involved in a criminal conspiracy, so that makes sense. Maybe,
Yeah.
what's her name? Lady who thought Morgan was hot at the
Han?
crime scene.
yeah.
Han, yes. Maybe Han killed him because she figured out what Creek was doing. Okay. The facts are simple, and the defense has failed to refute them. Thus, the people call for summary judgment. Oh geez, we gotta do this fast. The defendant is the only one with his prints on the gun. He is the only one with his prints on the katana. His own employer testified to this court that he was attacked and captured by 4 of the 5 victims. He was found and arrested standing over the body of a dead cop. Before 2 more officers arrived and secured the scene. Maybe we get them to testify?
Yeah. Must have been Reyes in London she's referring to.
As the only living person left at the scene of the crime, there was no one else who could have committed these murders. Well, that's not true. Rogers was at the scene of the crime.
Yeah. She's on a tear, and I'd be lying if I said it wasn't entertaining. But it's only because she's on tilt. She was thrown off by her witness flaking, and it's caused her to overstep. She just fired off a lot of claims in quick succession. Which is the weakest one? Where do I counterattack?
Okay. I think it's got to be police testimony because we can't disprove the murder weapons. We haven't been able to establish that there was another knife at the crime. We got rid of all our DNA evidence, so we can't use like Morgan's fingerprints as.
We do have the the outside ladder stuff that someone could potentially have gotten in through, but we don't know of any other suspects currently.
Yeah,
so...
that's the thing. We have not proven that there's anything else. I think the police testimony is the weakest because he just didn't fucking show up. We don't have police, like, can you check the statement just to see, because, like, he was the only one standing over the scene of the crime. That's just Rogers' hearsay. That's just fully... This cop man said it.
Yeah, let's try it.
We saved in high roller mode, I guess.
Yep.
This testimony she's made reference to hasn't been presented to the court yet. It's not as if... but if it's not as if Rogers could be lying about arresting Sosuke, I'll stand here because he was arrested.
Okay, that wasn't it, but we only lost one. Okay, so it's not police testimony.
Oh, sure.
Then I guess only... Well,
I mean, murder weapons we know that there's something wrong with, but
we know that there's something wrong with it. Yeah, is the thing.
DNA evidence,
I'm torn between murder weapons and only suspect. Only suspect is still true.
I mean, we could just go for it and say that, like, Rogers is a suspect, but...
Yeah, I mean, like, I would love to do that, but I feel like if we've got the same thing of it's not like Rogers could be lying about arresting Sosuke, I feel like it's built on that same... It's as flimsy as that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do we have enough for the murder weapons yet?
Do we have enough? It's what we've been aiming at is the thing. We have been working real hard to introduce doubt about the murder weapons and about, was he holding it right? Was he doing this? Was he doing that? Could he have fired the gun with his left hand? It is, I think, 50-50 at this point, because I don't think we're going to get them on the DNA evidence. So it's up to you.
I'm gonna try only suspect, but yeah, you're right.
All right.
It's kind of between these two.
Just claimed that Sosuke's the only one who could have committed these murders.
She's like, well, I know that that I did it.
I know that that's not true.
She can't possibly prove that.
Okay.
She can't prove that there wasn't anyone else there that night because I actually was. And unlike her, I can prove the possibility of another party being present without having to reveal their identity.
All right.
The people are mistaken, Your Honor. My client wasn't the only other person there that night.
I guess the dark card is probably the best evidence.
Yeah.
And there's evidence to show it.
Yeah, because there was a transaction happening.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
dark card, yeah.
What is that? The dark card found lodged into Creek's data pad?
That's right. The perfect payment option when neither you nor the businesses you frequent like attaching names to faces. We've already discussed that within moments of Creek's death, the transaction was being attempted on his datapad. The transaction made using this dark card. But whatever for... Perhaps some of the handful of illicit substances that were found at the scene of the crime. Oh, crap, yeah. Almost forgot. These guys were drug dealers.
She's like, I'm throwing out those charges. All we got to deal with is the cop now.
Yep. And drug dealers get customers, Your Honor. Customers that can be very temperamental when things go south.
Are you trying to suggest that these killings were the results of a drug deal gone wrong?
I mean, they sort of were.
A drug deal made in person at a blue blood stronghold? Who would be dumb enough to do that?
Dark cards require a passkey and a fingerprint. The card would be useless if its owner wasn't physically present for the transaction. A transaction that might be abruptly cancelled if tensions boiled over.
Potential buyer would likely have been across the desk from Creek.
The same spot in the room that we've established that the killer must have started their rampage.
Cute idea, counselor, but there's no meat to it. We know that Creek was using that data pad before he died. And we know that the dark card was processing a transaction at the time. But for some reason, you've made the assumption that he was selling. When the simplest explanation is that he was buying. Using the dark card that he owned.
The dark card belonged to Creek.
How will you respond?
I don't need to respond with evidence. I just need to point out the flawed evidence she's constructed her argument upon.
Okay, so, so... Well, so the dark card transaction was aborted. So if Creek was...
Yeah.
I guess their argument is that he dropped it when he died.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a little annoying. I don't know what they're going for here. Okay, so the flimsy evidence she's put this on. Found on Creek's desk. The datapad is Creek's. Chopin's fingerprints were on it. There was an aborted transaction, which they have thus far been blaming it on the card reader. The dark card was wiped of all prints, which... Okay, so the thing is, like, I'm not sure that when they say the dark card needs a fingerprint, they mean that, like, it needs to be on the dark card, or if there's a print reader on the data.
No, it means there's a print reader, yeah. Like, you need to scan your fingerprints in order to authorize the transaction.
Okay, so here's the thing that then is maybe wrong, is that Creek's prints are not on the print reader. They have Chopin's prints recorded. Can we pull up the full datapad evidence?
I totally forgot that
entry?
Chopin's prints were on that. That is really important.
Yeah, which is why I'm like, whatever this datapad has to do is got to be the thing. Okay, they do say fingerprints matching Creek's. The datapad is locked to Creek's fingerprints, making it difficult for anyone else to use it. A dark card is stuck quite firmly into the attached card reader. Oh, hang on a second. She couldn't wipe the dark card.
Yeah.
Because it was stuck, and she was worried she would leave more evidence by trying to remove it.
Yeah.
So the fact the dark card is wiped clean, that wasn't Morgan who did that.
Probably not, yeah.
So that's an interesting question, because why... It says wiped of all prints. So somebody else
Yeah, it seems
did
like
that
if it was
after.
Creek's, then he wouldn't have had to.
Yeah,
wipe
why
prints off
would
Like,
it
he
be
would have been
wiped?
just handling his own card.
He would have been handling his own card. So there, I don't know if that's necessarily wrong for
Yeah, it's
her argument, but it's the only thing that I'm seeing that is like, The other thing I could be seeing is like, okay, is Creek a rich criminal? Is Creek a rich criminal, really?
Yeah, well, he's clearly not rich, but he is
He's
a criminal.
not rich.
So it's
He is a criminal, but it's like,
possible, theoretically.
is he
maybe.
high up enough to have a dark card? Which I'm hoping isn't like, oh, we've got a Creek. The faulty piece of evidence she's building that on. Yeah, oh.
Yeah, I do feel like
I could
the white
see-
prints are like the most suspicious thing, but
This is the only thing that I'm like, this actually contradicts evidence that we have. I could see a really annoying argument where it's like the argument that this is Creek's is the faulty piece of evidence, but I'm not sure that that, you know, it's not really substantiated. I'm like, I don't know if we actually want to gamble everything on it, but I think the dark card is correct. It's mostly just like, I don't know if we want to crank up the ante or not.
yeah, I don't think we've ever gone below max. Do we
I don't think we've ever gone below
want to
max.
just do a small one this time?
We can do a small one.
So it sounds like 13 is the max this time. We have a lot.
We have a lot. It's up to
That
you.
wouldn't even put us below 100. I think we can afford it
It's all right.
if we lose 13. Want to go for it?
Yeah, the dark card is wrong in a way. It's the only thing we've got an actual contradiction about.
Alright, well, I guess let's try it. Go big or go home, right?
Fingers crossed.
If this fails, then the next one will probably lower the
Yeah.
stakes.
Wipeable.
Characterization, Your Honor.
It looks dramatic.
The people are claiming that the dark card in the evidence record belonged to the victim, Creek. Despite the fact that it has no fingerprints on it either.
Whew.
We did it.
What? We gambled
Whoa,
high
look at this
rollers. What?
If that dark card had belonged to Creek, he would have had to insert it into his data path with his teeth. Yuck. So who did the dark card belong to? Not the customer who didn't like his prices.
A disgruntled customer could have wiped their prints off the card to hide the fact they were ever there. That's absurd. If a customer brought that dark card with them to the crime scene, why the hell wouldn't they take it with them when they left?
It was stuck in the data pad.
They could have pulled a little harder. They could have taken the data pad with them.
Yeah, why didn't you take the data pad, Morgan?
Who would leave behind something that valuable?
Well, maybe someone who didn't.
The card is worthless to everyone but its owner.
To whom it could be priceless. Why would they choose to leave it behind?
The answer to that is simple.
She's
If
playing,
I'm honest.
she's playing her hand a little. Yeah.
We're discussing the possibility of a deal gone south. What could cause that in the first place?
Aggressive negotiating tactics?
Or a customer who couldn't pay?
Oh yeah, this is some jazz, baby.
But what are you... This customer could afford a dark card.
And yet they couldn't pay.
Hold on. You're trying to say all these deaths, all this carnage? You think it's all because their card got declined?
Well, I don't think it literally got declined, because I think in that case that would have been recorded as the transaction and not just
Yeah.
canceled.
But functionally, it would have gotten declined.
Hard to live down that kind of faux pas. Murdering 4 or 5 people in order to skip paying your bill is pretty aggressive. But if you need your fix... Was there any indication that contraband was taken from the scene of the crime?
A single blunt.
That is actually true. Yes, yes, they did. This saves the case.
Your Honor, that is difficult to say. Without knowing their inventory before the crime occurred, we cannot rule out the possibility.
It was a little lackluster of a pushback. She really that thrown off by this witness playing hooky?
He's so dead.
Well, I hate to do this because I love spending time with you all and having a physical body and being ensouled. But it does seem like I have to declare a recess while we wait. Perfectly reasonable, Your Honor. That's the most romantic thing I've ever heard. What?
Morgan's so popular.
Court is now in recess.
Ooh.
All right.
All right.
I think we can probably
We got
cut
through
the
it.
episode here.
We
did it.
went all in. High roller. We gambled and
did
we
it.
won.
We did it. We're honestly
We
doing
did
really
it,
well
baby.
so far. I feel like
Yeah, we're on
last
top of
episode
things.
we were really struggling through some of those trials. But yeah, we did it.
We are on top of things, and Officer Rogers is definitely dead, which is something. Like,
Oh, this is gonna be interesting.
he killed Chopin, and then he got killed, possibly by Han, because he and Creek were up to some shit. And Sosuke is the Don Bluth princess. Anastasia is not a Disney movie. The Don Bluth princess, and that's gonna come in somehow. Like, I maintain that he was the target. It was never about Makoto. We've got
shall see.
fucking Mireille, who factors into this somehow. She's got to be the M. Icaria
Mhm.
misspelled, who is listed there. I'm almost wondering if, like, the two families are separate is like they literally spell their name differently. To, like, on
It was never a
paper they are a
misspelling.
different family. It was never a misspelling, and that's why it's underlined, because he's like, no, I've got to remember that it's the Y before I version. Like, that's why it's, why else would you underline
You know what? You're onto
the
something there.
name of your fucking rivals?
It-
So it's going to be something real stupid like that. This is going to be the worst legal shenanigans we've ever seen.
It could be.
And then they were after the Anastasia treasure or something. And then he got killed to protect the conspiracy. He's dead now.
Yep.
I mean, upside, they're not going to be able to, like, if we can find that Rogers is dead, they are not going to be able to argue that Sosuke did it. House
Yeah.
Icaria in general, okay, yeah, they might be willing to be like, oh, this is a police versus gang war now.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be able to say Sosuke did it.
For sure.
He couldn't have been more arrested at that time.
Yep.
Whew.
All right. Well,
All
that was
right.
it for today. I'll see you guys on Thursday. This
A
is
lot
gonna be
happened.
interesting. Yeah.
Oh God, Thursday. Big
Oof.
day. All right.
All right. Stuff is happening. Stuff is going to continue
Yep.
happening. Well,
Yep.
we'll see you guys Thursday then. I hope you have a good rest of
See
your
you
day.
guys.
I hope you guys are having fun with the game. Thanks for joining. Bye.
Yep. Bye.